We have a new theme song. We have a new logo. We're talking about setting goals. Welcome to the ReUp. Let's go. So I gotta tell you, I did about 10 minutes of this episode with the microphone all the way over there. So we are going to try this again, one more time again. Welcome to the ReUp. How are you? My name is Jason Delgado. This is the Orsini Studios. We are here in beautiful Los Angeles, California, with the microphone, talking about the week and how everything is going. Welcome to the ReUp. The ReUp is kind of one of those inspirations of mine where, you know, I'm a stand-up comedian aspiring to be a professional stand-up comedian, and I know there's a lot of stand-up comedians out there, and people just aspiring for their dreams, doing something outside the sort of 9 to 5 or whatever work week, who want to aspire to something more, and there's a struggle and there's a perseverance required. And so such as with me, I'm going through it in the sort of aspirations and the struggle. And so I thought I'd start this little thing to talk about things I do during the week, how it works as far as my personal throws in the stand-up comedian world, and sort of the things I'm working on, things that might help fellow dreamers and comedians or musicians or whatever you want to do, painters, however you want to go about it, just to do their thing. You re-up the spirit, re-up the vigor of the dream. And so welcome if you are joining us. This is episode 2. And so it's exciting, we're getting something going a little bit maybe. And this week we're talking about setting goals. First I wanted to start off with, I have my little notes here, very unprofessional, but we're trying. But we got a kitten this week here at the household. I will display a picture of the kitten now. No, its name's Benicio. It's a male. I'm hoping that it is in the closet, safely in its blankets, as it should be, sleeping soundly. Things sleep for 20 hours, but man, when he is up, he can cry. Let me tell you. I didn't know anything about kittens, by the way. For me, cats, you just set it and forget it type of situation. But, this was different. My little Benicio, 4 weeks old, you gotta feed it with a bottle. It doesn't even walk on its own. It's got to walk kind of funny. You got to rub its little whammer so it poos and pees. I didn't even know that. It didn't even pee on or poo on its own. You got to induce. It's a whole process, and they sleep a long time. It's very much like caring for a child. They cry. It's just like a child. It was a very nice moment. The first day we got it, I took a half day and held it in my arms, and cared for it as it cried, and fed it and nurtured it and did my best to allow it to sleep. And then when its mother came home, it's like, let it cry. It's got to learn better. And I was like, that's a good lesson. You don't be a helicopter parent, man. Sometimes you just got to let your kid cry. But it's getting better now. It could be on its own. And so hopefully it's safe. Little Benicio. So that was nice. It was a good thing. Good learning experience to take care of a new living thing. So if it goes awry and the thing turns out to be a pain in the butt, it was all our fault, man. We got it straight from the womb. So if the thing's a nut, it was our fault. So we're trying to do our best to raise it right, and have it be a beautiful, little sparkling example of a kitten, old Benicio. So very excited about that. But we're going to talk about setting goals this week. This week I had last week we talked about bombing, and so this week I wanted to try something new, do a couple new places, try to get a new environment. And I found this very, very cool place. I guess a lot of comedians know about it. I'm new to this. But it's called The Fourth Wall. It's in Hollywood. They're not sponsoring this, but shout out to them. They have a very, very cool system. Just so you know, for comedians, I don't know if non-comedians even watch this or even care or want to be, but who cares? How it works is, for those who don't know, you go to one of these places, you sign up either on a sheet or you put a ticket in a bowl, and then they pick your name out of a hat, or you go on a list. And if you're on the list, you can go up 5th or 6th, and, it's not too bad. But then if you go up last, you're there for maybe hour and a half, 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours. And then you get no audience at the end, or you get picked out of these bowls. It's kind of a war of attrition sometimes, just to kind of get through the whole process of actually being at the mic, to let alone then go up and perform. But such is the way it goes, man. This is the life. This is what you decide. So. But this place had a nice system set up in that they do 45-minute blocks. You sign up preemptively, and you have to stay for the whole mic, but it's only 45 minutes. It's $5, but that's like the price of an item anyway, which is most of the time you got to buy an item anyway to get on the list. So $5, 5 minutes, 45-minute block. You have an audience. You're out in 45 minutes, and they do it every hour. I mean, it's a really great setup. So I went there twice. I went Thursday and Sunday. Ran into another fellow comedian who got booked at the Comedy Store. Rock and roll. Let's go. Fellow comedian support. So I'm going to go see her. And just, just that environment. It was a nice change of pace, because people are there. They kind of pay attention because they got to be there for 45 minutes anyway. It's only 45 minutes. It's also a fellow comedian. So if you get that means it's a really good joke because they are kind of in their own zone anyway. So, so shout out to that place, the Fourth Wall. I thought it was a really nice setup. I appreciate that setup in a mic where it's like you have a block, you got to stay, you do your mic, you roll, but it flows real nice and then it allows you to have an audience. So I thought that was nice. And the jokes work. Same jokes I did the bomb work. So again, perseverance, tightening and everything. But, sometimes keep it going. Don't give up on yourself so easy, as was the lesson last week. But one of the lessons for this week, again, in the growing mindset of trying to be better and be more present, setting goals. One of the things that I'm going through now is trying to set up some, short-term goals and longer-term goals for comedy. I want to work on the hour, get eventually to an hour. I want to try and do a 30-minute coming up soon. And so setting these goals to try and write and do these things, it's tough sometimes in contrast to living in the now because it's like, when you're thinking about the future, sometimes I think I get into a little bit of this like, after an hour, the pressure, and I get into sort of a paranoia where I don't, shout out to the truck passing by, but I get into a paranoia like, am I going to make it? Is there enough time? Is there enough time? And I think I fluster and I get nervous about things, and I think the problem with it is that there's this, fear-based thing where you set a goal and then you're like, if I don't reach this goal, I am nothing. And there's a level of forgiveness you got to give yourself and a level of patience and time, I think, for me, then I talk about it that you have to give myself. But I think that there's also something good about having something out there that's a little bit scary and unattainable. For what I want to do, and not a lot of people do it at the level I'd like to do it at, so, we're shooting a little high. But I think that that's a good thing, because, if we get halfway to the moon, you're still something, and I think that's a goal. But I think that the part of the nature of, like, setting that goal and how it helps to do a comedy goal for a life goal and sort of just, like, how it helps have something to aspire to is, I think, it helps me, at least, with the day-to-day ladies taking too long in the line for coffee and I'm late and I'm getting annoyed, or there's traffic, or there are these things that are in the way that are small annoyances that bother me. I'm trying to find a clean dish and there's no clean dishes and I gotta go, or I spilled the thing, I told myself I wasn't going to spill it, and these little annoyances that I think take energy and leak energy throughout the day. I think one of the things to setting a goal, at least for me recently, where I've been aspiring to something kind of, a little bit up there, is that it helps those annoyances because you're thinking about that the whole time. Like I think about trying to do this thing all the time. And so when somebody's taking too long in the line, or somebody's annoying me on the phone at my job, or somebody just being sort of generally in my way that I feel like my preferences are not being met, I do shoot in. I shoot in and I think about the goal and I think about the bigger picture, and those visions of that bigger picture are ego-based because it's, it's like you're trying to be, a big deal. People know me, but at the same time, I think that it's good to have those big things because it shuts down some of the little stuff for me. And for comedy stuff, especially, if I'm trying to write like 30 minutes, like that's a long way away. But the idea that I think everyone's, in some inert nature, my personal belief is that my goal is to create. I'm here to create. I think a lot of people, I think everybody's here to kind of create something, but I feel like there's a certain level of creation. I want to create and I want to give. And so, like, I think when I listen to that voice, that's the voice that wants to kind of rev the engine. But the annoyances get in the way. And then you go like, well, the annoyances are happening right now. So that's where my energy needs to go. And take care of all these annoyances. Then I'll get back to the dream. And I think for me, that happens when the dream is too small. Like, I'm going to write for 20 minutes today. if somebody's taking too long in line, I'll be like, forget the 20 minutes. I can waste energy on this. Why are you taking so long? That it's just I need to have something where the energy required is so vast and so immediate that these little annoyances disappear, in the face of this, like, oh my God, I gotta, I have this big thing I'm trying to do, and what should I do? Should I do it like this? Should I do it like this? You might be the one taking too long in line. Person behind you might be saying, hey, hurry up, buddy. But like that kind of idea where your mind is so into something else that and it's strange because my goal is to stay present and to be present. But I think that there are times when you can't be. You have to be live. So my roommate forgot her keys. We had to let her in. And we're back. The professionalism of the ReUp is so vast that it leaves room for error. Anyway, in any case, we were talking about setting goals. One of the things that I've been recently kind of doing is trying to get content out there and creating and getting stuff going. And, it's tough, man. It's tough to do. And one of the things I think helps is they say, I guess, when you have people around you, I forget the phrase, but it's like a high tide lifts all the boats. I'm probably butchering that. But one of the things that I've been noticing is that, as I've been setting goals and seeing other friends setting goals, not even in a competition way, because, none of my friends are really doing comedy, close friends at least are doing comedy. They're doing screenwriting or movies or acting or, business, entrepreneurship. And they all have these sort of high-level goals, these sort of big deal goals. And one of the things I find that's interesting is now it's evolved our relationships. Like when I go out and I hang out with them, like we had, my buddy had a barbecue this weekend. And, we're having beers, we're chit-chatting, but, we're not talking about, just random stuff like football or basketball or like, a girl you saw. Like we're talking about, business stuff, you know what I mean? Like what they're up to, what I'm up to, and the sort of motorcycle revving success anyway. But like, like we're talking about different things. We're talking about like helping each other out. Like, oh, you got a thing? I got a buddy who might have a thing. Like I'm looking for a place to do a stand-up show. Oh, I got a buddy who might have a thing. And the buddy shows up. He's like, oh yeah, I know a buddy who might have a space. And then, he needs a website. I know how to do websites. And there's a weird thing where like our communications and our sort of hangouts have sort of become a little bit next level-y, where we're talking about sort of getting stuff done as opposed to just, meandering in the regularness of life. And I like that, like we still talk about BS and like, places inappropriately that we farted, as my one friend told a funny story. But, and then he says, do you smell bread? Genius. But that idea where you talk about that stuff, but also get into some other stuff that's a little bit more, I want to say adult because it's funny, but it's like, it's a little next level-y. And it's like, we're talking about improving ourselves and what the steps we're taking to improve ourselves and how we can help each other improve ourselves. And having that be a little bit of a standard now, as opposed to, just general stuff. And it's helped relationships. It's helped hang out, because I think what happens is, I get into a thing where it's like, oh, I want to hang out because I'd like to just chill and let the mind loose. But at the same time, I have so much time I want to allocate to just trying to make the thing happen. And so if I allocate that time about chilling, where I could use that to be making the thing happen, then I chill but feel a sense of guilt, I guess you'd say. Guilt, for sure, guilt. I should have been doing what I'm supposed to be doing. But when you have an amalgamation of the two, nice word, where you have it be a hang and also, be, talking about next level, upgrading, being a real one, like that sort of helps the relationship. It helps, with sort of the struggle, I guess you'd say, because it's like you're hanging out, but you're also feeling like you're progressing and doing some work. And I got stuff done, just hanging out this weekend. I got stuff done that I was supposed to be doing on my own, sitting in my room researching on the internet. I wound up doing it over beers and delicious carne. So, like, that really is, they said that you are the 5 people you spend the most time with. And I feel like I like the people I spend time with, so I'd hate to have to, like, not hang out and have beers with them anymore. So it's nice because we're all goal oriented, we're all kind of upgrading, that those 5 people can be who they are, but since we're all upgrading, be worthy of the 5 people we're hanging out with, because we're all trying to do good things, you know what I mean? So if we're all trying to do good things, then we feed off each other and grow, as opposed to like, you know, you're hanging out with people who don't want to do anything, and then you feel like, I love these friends, but, you know, I have this thing I want to do, and now I have to compromise. It's nice that all my friends are kind of upgrading and getting on their business, and it is very encouraging. And so that was good, and that really comes from setting goals. You know, setting goals and having something be way out there, so that way you can reach towards it and get a lot of that fussy fuss out of the way. And it's helped me, and I hope it helps you. If you are listening and made it this far, we're at 15 minutes or so that's usually kind of how the time frame we like to keep it at on these little ReUp episodes. So we'll call it there. Set good goals, set them big. You know, kittens are tough, but they're lovely, and I hope you have a great rest of the week. Thank you for joining me. My name is Jason Delgado. This was the ReUp, and we will see you on the next one. Take care.